email. Also, which is similar to the second request, you mentioned the post, you need the title, and then the third request, which was the third request of the REST API followers, which is when you want the name. And all of that brings us one response, all the data that we need. Just make one request, one network round trip, and then we not over or under fetched. We've gotten all the data that we are looking for. And then yeah, so that's GraphQL in a nutshell. So as I was failing fast in my attempts to learn GraphQL, I came across Apollo, and it was, in my opinion, the simplest. Apollo client now was the simplest library to use on the front end. I didn't explore the rest because the docs were sketchy and all that. So that's my opinion. So within Apollo, as I mentioned, it's a whole ecosystem with for our use case as building software, we have Apollo clients and Apollo server. So Apollo client is a state management library. State management library that manages data on the front end. And then Apollo server is for the back end with schemas and resolvers to assist you build GraphQL APIs. So both of them work seamlessly with React and Node for the context of this talk. And then yeah, just a visual of how Apollo server works with data sources. So whether it's the DB or whatever, then we have our Apollo server and then the client. So within the client, is where now Apollo client is used to create an instance. We'll get to that. Yeah, so that's the two libraries within Apollo that will assist you to GraphQL with React and Node. So we move on to why precision matters. So the way you work, I mean, if you make 3 or 100 network calls to an endpoint, I mean, it still works. But at the end of the day, it's simple pay because you finish a feature or what. But at some point, you know, I don't control because you're making different requests. Your backend guy decides to wake up today, create 100 million points. And you have to start calling them to events. Presumably, you don't know that. Yeah, so I thought to myself, precision is a very important factor in the work we do. Because you can just get what you wanted, which is the life. Yeah, so with GraphQL, you query only the needed fields that you want, as we saw in the image here. Okay. As we saw in this image, now one request, we got everything that we needed. So like that's very precise to the point, and we're not going to many endpoints and getting data from everybody. And then we have predictable responses and clear surprises. At this point, what I mean by clear surprises is when we use GraphQL, we get the post titles and we get the followers here in our listed. We get the post title and user one is followers with but at this point here, first of all, we get everything about user 1 to 3 that we don't need. Presuming you won't use his name, you won't use his email. And then at this point also for posts, we get everything about posts of user 1 to 3. While we only needed the title. And then same with followers, we only needed the followers' names. But as you can see here, we get everything about the followers. So like, yeah, so for it to be more predictable, that's where GraphQL comes in, and now we can predict. The only thing we'll get from our API is the followers' names, and the only thing we'll get from the API are the post titles. And then working with GraphQL is great for mobile and low bandwidth. So mobile, I won't speak on the American side, but for the African continent, most mobile users tend to have low data. Like they don't have as much data as those of us who work with like larger machines because of maybe location, where they are in their respective countries, and also low bandwidth. Some areas as a few net, yes, but still very low bandwidth. So you can imagine trying to fetch all of this from the user is trying to like open their Twitter feed, and you're busy fetching all of this for the Facebook feed. They're fetching all of this. Before it loads, the user experience will not be very friendly to them. Just because you have very open experience. Yeah. So I'll give you an example there. And then now I'll show you how it's used within next areas. So for example, so there's a difference. If you're using plain React, you use the Apollo clients only. There are different packages. So what you need to install if you're using plain React is Apollo clients, the latest, and GraphQL, so that you are able to use it. But now, because it's just for the material, the approach and stuff, you need to have this package here, client integration. And if you had worked with this before 2 months earlier, or more than 2 months earlier, it was still in its experimentation phase. So they changed things up. First still not compatible, but just to so there are two implementations if you're working with the server side or the client side. So the server side, you create a client instance like this. I'll show you in the project. So there are two methods whether you're working with the server side or the client side. So I just went to the client side. So for the client side, create your client instance like this. So you import the necessary packages, the app provider, the in-memory cache. Apollo comes with cache support and SSR. So it builds from the SSR and make your systems to your client. And then, so you create your client instance at this point, and then now you create a component that will wrap your whole application within Apollo, I would say. Yeah, and then once you create your component here, you come and use it in the layout now to wrap your whole project so that you're able to create queries, which is read data, and mutate data, which is change the data from the GraphQL API. So the client query is slightly different from server side way, because the server side way you don't really need to create another component. Just create the instance and then use it. Yes. So those are the two implementations. Depending on your preference or your team's preference. So once we have our Apollo wrapper within our application, we then create our query. So I'm using the Rick and Morty GraphQL API. So within that API, I only wanted the characters, the results, the name, status, the species, the images, origin where they came from, the name of origin, the location, and the name. So I don't know if I can quickly look for what. The, the API itself has very um, parameters that you can choose from depending on how you wish to consume the data. This is all I wanted from the API. So that hence why I constructed my okay. Hence I constructed my query like this. And like I said before, a query is just how you read the data. So this is how I want to um, fetch data from the API and consume only what I want. If you have your own application and decide to do this, you will find out of all those parameters, there are very many. It's like where the character, the locations, how the data, I think, application of the characters. So you can just go and construct your own query and get what you want precisely. Yeah, and then at this point, I display a bit of laziness here. Display exactly what you get from the query. Yeah, so that's basically it for the implementation. So I'll show you the way it displays. Yeah, so as you can see, we have drink here. The species is human. Its origin is Earth C137. Location Citadel of Rix, and it shows that he's alive. Same for Morty, Kusama, um, Beth, Jerry, yeah, and various other characters. Various other characters. Okay. So within Apollo, it comes with some very helpful features that I feel like I should mention. It comes with cache, so in case maybe you're sort of jumping from one page to another a bit rapidly, it has cache so that you don't have to fetch the data every time you jump back and forth between pages. As we saw here, at this point, in memory cache. Then we have pagination, which allows you to fetch just a chunk of the data. You can see my page here. Yeah, I was a bit lazy doing this, so I will fetch this. And then it also allows for lazy queries. Yeah. Then it has error states, which are very useful within the library itself. When it loads, when there's an error, it informs you what the error is, then data to tell you that the data has been fetched, for example. And it also has subscriptions, which is basically WebSockets, which is basically WebSockets. So if you're building like a live chat app, and you decide to use GraphQL as your API architecture, you can use subscriptions which are available within Apollo. And then for best practices when working with GraphQL and Apollo, we design schemas. Now this is for the backend. We design the schemas around what the client needs. So the schemas is just it's the way the data is. So you build that around what the client needs so that you don't end up having too much data floating around. Then keep your queries small and composable. Um, if small means 100, 100 properties from your objects, then fine, because then it means you have a lot more. So just try as much as possible to keep those small. And then Apollo has dev tools which can use to debug your application, which is very accessible. And then, because that's saying use TypeScript for type safety in your app. And then going to use GraphQL in Apollo because the only reason I feel like GraphQL hasn't really caught on and why I personally wouldn't use it is that okay, let me start with why you should use it. So one of the reasons you should use it is if you have a complex UI with many nested relationships. So okay, this was just a small snippet, but you can imagine for this one page you had say 1,000 objects and make up that UI. Within those 1,000 objects you have maybe one from here, 100 from another, 2,000 from another. So like at a point, your complex UI will be hitting way too many endpoints and affecting bandwidth and all of that. So multiple clients, as I mentioned, you only have one endpoint. So if you have multiple clients, web, mobile, etc., it makes it easier for you to work across the team with the backend guys. You don't have to keep asking for endpoints, assuming recognition. You don't have to keep asking for multiple for endpoints and all of that. You just have the same one that you work with across these two clients. When you need real-time updates, although you can add new WebSockets, but there's also subscriptions within Apollo. Then the only reason why I feel it doesn't caught on is because it's quote unquote too well overkill for small or simple APIs. Maybe you can show me a product within the Kenyan market that you use. Maybe you can show me. Maybe I'm open to a product that actually uses GraphQL. I don't know if you go against your policy, but I'd like to see how it works using GraphQL, considering that it's for very big products like Facebook. So if there's any in Kenya that uses it, I'd love to know. Because yeah, it's really annoying. So I have 5 minutes. So before you go, I'm finished the Q&A. So I have some resources, just the implementation, a blog post, and the most important one, I feel is this one because these days keep changing. So there's a so there's a repo with the implementation of the way GraphQL works on next with the app directory. Like that's really important. And I wrote a little something here some time back. You have to try this and read it. So yeah, before I take questions, thank you for listening to me. Yeah, so so if you have questions after this talk, you can, especially Twitter, you can reach me on Twitter. I'm always there. Everywhere else is questionable, but you can reach out to get my handle. I'll respond to you. Thank you. Thank you again.
Raffle continues, and a winner might just be announced today. So I'd like to welcome somebody to come and explain basically what he's supposed to do. Part of the team. Welcome you. So yeah, he will explain essentially what the raffle is all about, how you do it, because we expect by end of session the raffle to begin and the winner to probably get announced today. Don't worry about the prize, you shall get the prize. Remember what the prize is, huh? What's the prize, remind me? A brand new PS5, courtesy of Cloud. So yes, do the raffle, let's get a winner by today. And then we organize before Friday to get your goodies.
Oh, hi guys. First of all, any one of you who have used Cloudinary or whatever is Cloudinary or had a Cloudinary by show of hands? Awesome. I can see only two. The rest means like you're going to make frequent class or be interact with Cloudinary and so it's easier to use. So what we do at Cloudinary is we basically manage digital assets. Digital assets means things like videos, images, yeah, anything digital, a digital asset. So for the raffle, it's as easy as this. And we make it very easy for developers to basically interact with our platform because we are an API-first company. So an example is, I wish I could have a laptop, but if people basically scan this, I think
Can anybody volunteer a laptop?
I'm going to show you like basically just one.
Who is the laptop that they can volunteer, please? Yes, please. Thank you.
Let's just put in the URL that is on.
Who is the laptop that is connected? Connected to the screen. That's the rest of the team that comes in. That's fine. Come to the lecture. Okay.
Yeah, so basically it was easier to an example. We've been told like basically for the first image we need to get a crop around the head of the person in the center in a 4x4 square. So it's as easy as this. I'm going to show you basically how to do like basically the first one, then direct you on how to do like basically you're going to do the second and third one because it's the same thing. So an example. Yeah. So after the upload, we are kind of what we're doing. Yeah. So what happens with Cloudinary is we just manipulate the URL to get everything basically that you need. So an example is for this image you've been told that we need to let's go back. all that. Okay, so for this, the first thing we've been told that we need to create a crop around the face of the person in the center in a 4x4 in a 400 by 400 square. Okay, so what you just need to do is come. Can you go up after the photo? So after the upload, after the flash. Yeah, now in between there, I want to, we've been told to first crop. Now put C underscore crop. Yeah. So and we've been told to put a comma. So the gravity we've been told is what it is. You want a square around a square around this field. So we're going to put like basically gravity, just put G underscore after the comma put G underscore phase underscore. Oh, G underscore phase. Going to the phase that we're targeting. Yeah. Then we've been told to put it in a square of 400 by 400. And then now after that put another comma of width underscore 400 and a comma height underscore 400. Yeah, it's supposed to be W underscore 400. W underscore 400. 400. Yeah. Then 400. Yeah, basically that's what you just get told. I think I've given you an opinion for the first one. So the second one is basically as simple as this. You just take the URL that you've been given. You are kind of applying AI to it.
Can you see the link? I don't know how you should do the link. So literally this is the first answer challenge number one. And then
So number two and three is basically one thing, but what you're going to do is very simple. I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to guide you. So if you just go to the ordinary documentation, like basically, if you just Google right now, we are talking about, we've been told to change. Yeah, so the ordinary is also in the AI space, and we are basically dealing with generative AI. An example is, a use case for this would be basically maybe you are running an e-commerce store and you have this bag that you are selling. So you need this bag to be in 10 variations. You realize like variations of colors. So you realize like basically you might have to create 10 variations of this, but it's ordinary, it's one command for all. So with generative AI, it's just generative AI is not the task. You're going to focus on the bag and just tell it, change this bag from blue, from green, or this, I don't know the color. Yeah, from beige to blue or green. So the task involves that you're going to change it to green and the color that you've been targeting the raffle. Yeah, that's just generative AI. And the way to do it on the URL, just as we done on the first one. You're not going to create an ordinary account, just apply it to the URL.
So thank you, Eugene, by the way. For those of us who missed, we've just been given a bit of a hint on how to complete the tasks by Cloudinary. Remember, the takeaway gift is a PlayStation 5. Yay! So, let me welcome the last talk of the day, which should have all of us. Excuse me. So, Pamoja tafadhali, we'll get back there after this 30 minutes. Please, let's get here. Excuse me. Hi. Let's all come back, sit down. We get lights, and I think the room should be warmed up a little bit, even when it's cold. So let's get back. Let's finish the last talk of the day. He has a lot of goodies also as we wind up RenderCon version 3. So yeah, let's come sit down. You will go back there later, kindly. Kind sirs. Do you want some more? Yeah, let's sit down, please. Let's sit down. Let's sit down. Let's sit down and wind up. Let's sit down. Let's wind up. And you really. Nice. Is that too much light? Pardon? Yes. Hello.
Hi. How you doing? Okay, so before it starts, which talk or demo or workshop are you doing the most? Talk or demo, what's your highlight? Nice. Let's do this. Which demo? What was your highlight today?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Wow, the guys of Bitcoin on board this one. Okay, so about my highlight of today is the food. Here's the food. Man, next year here. So RenderCon Ke, this is my second time. Thank you. And like the veteran, some other. My session is use agents in the ISDK. First of all, how many people have heard of the ISDK? Basel ISDK. Show of hands. 2, 4. It's going to be gone. How many people? Okay. So it means I've been experimenting with it. My code fails today. The guys there who can help me debug. So I'm Felix Junoson or Blacky. My socials on X is Blacky_360. The pic was taken by a pixel. I have to buy a pixel. But why for get me a pic for my next session? So who am I? Basically, I monitor network infrastructure as a NOC engineer, but I also write code on my free time. Out of the free time, I also do practical things of stand-up comedy. Okay. So today we're going to do something experimental. If you have a machine, it's going to be a bit hands-on, and at the same time theory. Because 75% I know what I'm talking about. The other one, maybe Casa is the one which can. And also, I'm giving out 1 month subscription for Casa Pro. How many people use Casa? When you organize so what you're going to do, you're going to first, this is like a bit of what you're going to do. So the whole, you can't cover everything today, but I'll show you on how to build from a beginner level, and then you're going to scale to with the AI and all the other agents that are built by facilities. That's actually be okay. Be okay. Yeshiva, nachai hapo nyuma. So first we have to learn what's an agent. On layman's term, what's an agent?
Something that is acted upon.
Something that's acted upon. For me, I'll say an agent is basically a piece of LLM that is given superpowers or James Bond in a suit. An agent is an organization. It's giving an LLM specific task to do support. I believe from the previous session on launching, that made the base for my talk. So agents are language models equipped with tools to accomplish a goal. The word tools, I'll be using it more often. Why build agents? Anybody who has built an agent? The speaker before the second speaker before me spoke about it. Why build agents? Anybody has also built an agent? Are we in RenderCon? Are you sure? If I really, has anybody, okay, other than you, anybody was built an agent? Yes, there's a mic around here. Okay, and show. You can also,
Yeah. Yeah. So in my line of work, basically I've built an agent that an example is we have a suite of products that basically we offer. So the moment like basically I want an example is I want to basically maybe this is an image. I'll basically call that agent to do that specific work instead of basically calling the whole suite of products. I'm not sure if it is.
okay, it's great. Okay, at my place of work, we built an agent whereby we have integrated it with ServiceNow application platform, where when a client reports a downtime, it actually fetches his previous tickets for about 6 months, and also shows if they are eligible for example, for them not to pay for a specific time, maybe to 12 or something. If the fault is on us, if we haven't met the SLA. So from there, I came and found out that building an agent in Versailles is actually a bit easier than us hosting our own model, then training the model on our own data. That is a bit big also. Then from training our own model, also integrating into our own system. But with Versailles, it is a bit easier with it. So down below we have one of those call them chain of thoughts. Chain of thoughts. Okay, we have one of those whereby if you build an agent on SDK, you have a unified API provider. If you're using OpenAI, if you're using Google by Gemini, Mestra, AWS, Bedrock, and all that. We also have generative UI by AI Elementary, and we have framework which can be supported by Next.js, Vue, React, and those again. So I want us to rush through the slides and do a bit of a demo. So what's an SDK? SDK is basically a TypeScript toolkit. A TypeScript toolkit in the sense that it's giving TypeScript tools. I'll say that with a bit of tools. Giving TypeScript tools. You don't need to learn Python for you to do or build AI application at now. If you're a TypeScript developer or even a JavaScript developer, you can still use your language to build the agent, to build an AI application. Building blocks of AI SDK. What's up? Awo. Yeah. Okay. One of the building blocks of AI SDK is basically models. So, you, the other guy on the phone, what's your favorite model? You, the other guy. On your left, right. What's your favorite model? What's your favorite LLM or model? Anybody who has a favorite model, maybe anybody with a favorite model? Anyone with a favorite model? Shout it out. Cloud, Gemini, and all that. For me, I'll say my favorite model is a model called Panoma. It's within Casa. It's a bit connected. So, for you, if you're building an SDK, this is how you'll be calling your models. Basically, you can change between models. You don't need, if you're using AI gateway, you don't need to have the API key for every model. You don't need to go to OpenAI to get an API key, go to Google to get an API key or whatever. You can just change here, these two. If it's Gemini, it will be Google Gemini Flash 2.5 or something. It's very simple. you don't need to have an API key for you to have a model, and for you to use a model. So tools are the most important things in this session. For the tools, they're actually the functions that the agent can call or interact with external systems, like maybe access a database, call an API, and all that. If you can see that code is a tool that changes direction. If you are in the document directory, you can give it a command. You can call, you can say, can you kindly change directory to me and download and all that. So agents, we have agent P, agent 3, agent platinum, so P. So for the agents, they actually like the main engine for what you'll be building. You can call an agent with that. You can also put assistive branch into it. So we are done. For the guys who have laptops, you're going to do something small, something short. Wi-Fi. Hello. We're going to do something short. Can you scan? Can you kindly scan? Level 2. If you want it's a report that I've just done it a few minutes ago, a few hours ago. You can go to on GitHub, you can search Lucky 360. Then go to my repos, you'll find this. You'll find this. So if you're here, you can fork it or clone it the way you prefer. Until there anybody left behind, because there's another thing also to scan. Anybody left behind? Let me ask the right question. Has anybody scanned it? Okay. I also want so I want us to build a small agent. Tool plug and play. You can also scan it. Is anybody scanning? No. So I go to the next thing. Okay. So if you scan it, you can get into this page, sort of a small documentation. It's sort of a small documentation on how you'll be creating the tools. We have different kind of tools depending on the agents that you want to build. We have coding agents. We have data retrieval or RAG agents. We have a couple of agents which I've seen people build on top of the SDK. We have one that actually uses Nano Banana to edit your photo. If you want it detailed, just you have it detailed. So on this is what we're going to do to build the repo. Let me discuss. So on this file, when you go to actually under utils and under agents, this is actually the main file that you interact with. So for these, I had a difficulty with the AI agent, AI gateway. My tokens deletion bank. So you're given $5 tokens. Gisha you use. So I had to use my own Google. Hold on. Okay. So I had to use my own Gemini API, but you can use OpenAI or Claudia by Anthropy or any other model that you have access to it. So what does this give? So we have a couple of things. Let's start. Document agent, that's our main agent, whereby it will be taking a model like Google, which is Gemini 2.0 Flash, and it has a system prompt. Mainly, if you're building an AI app, always have a system prompt. Don't be like the guys from CYI, system prompt you ask, who built it, say, and they have a system prompt. Emphasize actually describe whatever the agent is doing in the system prompt. From there, to break an agent loop from the previous topic, from the previous guide, on AISDK we use stop when. It will count how many iterations that it can do before it stops. Because if you don't do it in a loop, it comes in a loop and it also start hallucinating. I had a empty. Let me see. So let's run this thing. Let me just make a edit. So our agent can do a couple of things. Our agent can change the directory from one directory to another directory. If you're giving it instructions to go into maybe your music folder and search for if you are those crazy people who listen to only one artist, arrange this folder alone, then this to another folder. Also, something like that. You can do that. Whereby we have this action whereby when it change directory to. For this, we are using XOR for text to input schema. Okay. So for the map and all that, you should always check on the current directory, which you know where to get. How many people are here with us? How many people are here? Truly saying, how many people are here with us? Do you use AWS? And the two other guys, do you use AWS? to use to come for training. Come for training. Okay, that is a tool to just we have a tool to list the files in that directory. Okay, for that it's basically like I'm giving it instructions. Go to this directory, list the files in that directory. It's best if you're building a coding agent. If you watch Marcel sheet 25, there's a talk by Nico. What actually intrigued me into delving into the ISPK. If you watch it, he was building a simple AI agent, a coding agent. It's always best for you to list the file, so you get the context of the file before you can change this file, get this folder or something. So I have one whereby it will execute plus the generated path. It also ignore the node modules that file as a node module. If you're building a coding agent, read file. The AI model should always be able to read the file that is about to read for each to actually know what's doing. Maybe the file is JavaScript and you're telling it to read, right? Or maybe the file for this instance, the file can be PDF, can be text, can be called Microsoft Word, can be HTML file. Actually going to read the file before it actually get to analyze or edit the file. We have a couple of tools. Now we have talked about the video. We have an edit tool. If you have edit, what else? Which other tool can we have? Backend developers. I had backend is basically just doing code operations at scale. So you can have the sort of a crude tool create. Okay, it can also create, so can edit, can delete, can list. These are the key. There's several types of agents. For these are the tools that I've created my agent to call and execute the code according to them. But depending on the domain, you can. I saw with Journey have their own SDK, whereby it fetches the financial data of that user and hotels and whatever. It seems I'm only talking to these guys. Okay, for this agent, it can understand TXT and markdown JSON, the data HTML, and PDF. So you want to see something cool. For an agent that is basically dealing with this files, like chemicals and markers, I came to find out that an agent reading a PDF is hard than an agent reading a Microsoft Doc one. Pictures, PDF is uneditable in a way before you convert it. So I have to sort of faster to handle PDF sets into binary format. Nimechoka nakiengelesha. So I have a tool to analyze the content of the PDF or the documents. If you're working in large files, that was my use case for it, whereby it will analyze the content, it will summarize and also show the entities and the subtopics. Easy. Search for content. So I want to run it. I have this white paper. I have this white paper on AI governance by you don't have that essential. It's a white paper by AI governance 2024 by UN. It's a very huge document. I want us to analyze it. So for this one, we basically analyze. Okay. For this one, it has gone to it has changed directory. I told it to change directory to home/documents, which the file doesn't exist here. The file actually exists on the current directory. Just need to change here. So current directory is alliance. Just like the I command. Yeah. Let's debug. Okay, that's what. I was wondering what's happening. So, for this one, if you can see the test one, gives a response again which listed the files. It says, okay, I see a number of files and directories in the current directory. I see a PDF file called AI governance PDF and a macro file called news. So because I told you the model, the agent that I've used, it actually has a specific array or enums of the files that you can read. PDF, docs, PXP, and markup. So these other files within here, the translations, and the HTML, if you are not read, what should you read it? It's not the work that I've given. From that, then you see the says like the document. Now it summarizes the document for you. You can try something. This go here, go here to this. also another question. Why does it even be out this error? Anyone? You're going to expand. Why does it even out this error? Okay, yeah, there is that. And also, if you check at this one, there is a third test whereby it's checking for an HTML file. HTML file doesn't sort of exist. So the model crashed, like it is not know that what can it do. On that, for SDK, you can go here, you can take templates to play with them, you can do something out of it. So, if you have any questions, yes.
So, is there some difference, or what is between this and maybe like using, because I'm seeing like using playwright execution.
There is no much of a difference because if you look at AI SDK version 5.2 was released because there is a section whereby you can actually call them instead of using the Vercel SDK, you can call it playwright. And also, you can use something called context 7 MCP, whereby it does sort of fetches current documentation. Then so you can implement, if you're building an MCP and coding agent MCP, you can use the context 5. So the context 7, whereby it should be fetching the latest documentation for your coding agent. In the sense that if you're implementing better, you should be using the latest documentation, not the last year's documentation. We use AWS. Hiyo peke yake ndio naswa.
Nikisema yes kuna
Napea sahihi.
Processes like do like files, yeah. Can I use the same tools to make one again?
Yes, you can. A day request. You see,
Basically what you've done, maybe can I tell it, instead of doing like great file sync, maybe get it from this endpoint, go first, do 1 to 1 2, something like that.
do you remember me saying I know 75% of what I'm going to do? But if you do so, you can. In the sense that if you're building a full agent, not a terminal agent, the one that can actually deploy, you'll be all these processes will be under an API. If you check if you check on the API, you see it. I know my day you are very bright.
wow.
Any other question? Nobody? It's fast.
When
So that's conversation context. There is a tool within the SDK, for example, memorization of sound. Where we put it, whatever you're talking about, you should settle. doing it. But everyone is best, very best to deal after it's 20 minutes after you deal with it. Then some. Yes. Candle commercial.
What?
Candle commercial. It's like remember everything.
Yeah, that's talking as conversations. But you know, somehow the community of the content.
Nah, you can like obviously be organized, bedrock providers, Google very nice, and also if you use it very nice, 1.5, 1.5 is still not compatible with it. Like it's giving you something to them and God. The God has done. So I have about I have about 8. Okay, so maybe 2 AWS credits for those guys who do AWS, and he has won the CASA credit. So thank you for listening and see you.
Hello, welcome. Hi, good evening. First of all, let me know we have the capacity to switch off the projector, because that is how we summarize RenderCon 2025 with good grace, and thank you so much for attending. Did we have fun?
Yes.
Did we enjoy? Did we learn? Did you connect with someone today?
Yes, we did.
If you not checked at least all of those check boxes, we have tea, we want to do something first of all for a group before we even summarize. First of all, let's remember the challenge on crowdfunding. Oh wow, interesting. I've just received the greatest news ever. Do you want to hear the news? The names of the people who successfully submitted the culinary challenge have been resubmitted back to us. And for the last time, we shall switch on this. We're just filling out the names. We shall put the names on a wheel and we shall announce the winner of a brand new PS5. Right now, before we end the day. Isn't that interesting? So, mwenye amechelewa, apparently mwana si wako. So, if you did make a submission, the names have just been given back because we just officially mentioned that we have completed. Shakaboom, shakaboom, shakaboom. So, again, stick around. I want us to just, oh wow, I have no reason to even take you to play the challenge anymore. Lord, I wish I played. It would have been the winner of the brand new PS5 now. But anyway, let me just first of all start by thanking the most important people, Clavinary, who made this possible today. Let me thank anybody and everybody who showed up for the event. Let me thank the people who are making this event at least not 100% accessible, but just at least accessible by at least streaming some of the sessions that we have had. If there is a session that you might not have been privileged to attend, at least you know it was recorded. If it was recorded and you attended it, then we shall challenge all the speakers for the day to at least create submissions of all their talks. We shall be putting up as a QR code for you guys to scan and give us feedback essentially about the event today, the things you liked and where you think we can improve on. That's cool. Aside from that, what else do I say? Oh yes, with all kindness, I have been requested. How did you guys like the meal?
Yes.
So Bridin has requested. I'm going to give out, I think, around 5-6 business cards. If you do get the chance and if you feel like you have something kind to say, they have requested for you to give them at least a good review about the services, the food, and how they handle everything. Because that is a standard that we are setting, and that is a standard that they accommodated with us. Otherwise, again, we don't usually do this. These conferences happen once in a year. The other monthly events that we usually have still continue to happen. And we are grateful, by the way. If you can see, there's a Park University banner at the back, just as an appreciation. If you walk around, take a picture. If you have somebody who you know who's exploring academia in their own way, let them consider Pan-African Christian University, right? Didn't give a sense. Huh? Oh, PS5. I'm actually genuinely, if you guys have not noticed, I'm just burning time for Hama to finish up with that academy. It's just good, it's more of a spin the wheel kind of thing. We'll do it very openly. We're using a service that you guys know services that do randomization. Pardon? Pardon? Who can vibe code? Who can vibe code? Who can vibe code right now? A program that's going to take in a bunch of names and just randomly give us one. Eh? People. I see people with Daniel did not carry a laptop. This has been a good opportunity. So yeah, interesting. Again, as you try to put into practice some of the things you've learned, don't forget to connect. I'm just burning time, by the way. In case you don't want to listen to me, there's tea behind there. Hot tea. Preferences, there is that gentleman who's taking pictures. If you are LinkedIn person, please also follow them on LinkedIn, because on Monday, it's going to be that day. We start with, it was an awesome weekend. Enter. Then we started interesting descriptions. Okay, can I get all speakers here? Please, if you participated today as a speaker sharing knowledge, please step forward. I've been directed to share kindness.
As usual.
Please ensure your tag is indicated as speaker. No, the only exception is not organizer. So yes, if the speakers can just take 5 minutes, we would love to give you a little bit of gratitude for showing up, for actually taking time to share what you know and answering beautiful questions. So speakers, you go quick. Speakers, you go quick. Kuja, awali pia congratulate the boys side. I give you something with a beautiful handshake so that I get like 1,000 LinkedIn funding. They are looking at it. But now it's my time to shine. Yes, about the speaker, right? Wow, you guys don't know to get awarded. Wow. Because right now would be a good time to play that song. Kenya, 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 nchi yenye right? You- Please open it at home. Yes. Please, if you get a gift, open it at home. Let me ask. Oh, one more. Culinary. You there, my guy. You're part of this. So thank you. Thank you. Any other human being? Nice. 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 Okay. So these are the people who made it possible. Thank you, Sarah. A big, fat, juicy thank you, all of you. So yeah, whatever. Pictures. So are you just having the photo? Oh, is it okay to request all of you guys that we do a group photo at the back there? After we're done with the raffle, we already know who's celebrating their new gadgets. So for context, the person who's getting the gadgets, it should arrive in around a week. Yes, I actually take that off. So again, thank you, Santana. Santana, handshake. Let's go. Who wants to say anything, by the way? Literally, you can just take the mic and say something. On you.
Right, here we go, the last photo. We are on my count, we go, hey, on my RenderCon. Alright, on my count, in 1, 2, 3. Love it.
Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for. The moment we've all been waiting for. Let us switch on back. The light. the most important gadgets. So, on the challenge, for the Cloudinary challenge, hello. For the Cloudinary challenge, we had 12 submissions. Yes. Yes. For an attendance rate of, I don't even know how many, but it was more than 12, which is okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Alright, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. So the people who submitted are Timothy Mugo, Dennis Ingoringana, Dominic Kongo, Ryan Koech, Davis Wataka, Daniel Katugi, Oliver Kikime, Kibet, Josephat Gilbert Kamau, William Dominic, Sean McWilliams, Justin. Yes, sorry, I don't like butchering people's names. And now let's take it over, Brahma.
Wait. Can I just repeat that?
So there was supposed to be correct submissions. Unfortunately, sorry. So the people who got it right are this one.
So these were the names that have been submitted by our sponsor partner. Unfortunately, we don't have somebody for betting controller.
Betting controller, licensing modes.
Verify that these are the names. So,
So for this, we shall be using the service wheelofnames.com. We shall run the wheel just once. So yes. So yes, below names winner. Winner of a brand new. Who has What he is saying is, okay, let's talk about procedure. The reason why the gift is not in today. We made an order from Jumia, but unfortunately, since Jumia could not fulfill by today, they refunded the money, and now we will have to look for another provider to make the repurchase again on Monday. Expect delivery of the PlayStation by Friday, Saturday latest. I will do the delivery myself.
it's online.
Yes.
So Brian contacted by Club on your steps on how to get like your address.
Everyone has up gets a club. But thank you again for everybody who participated. Thank you so much to the Cloudinary team that made today possible. Thank you everyone for making today possible. Just like that is a wrap like Roy. Thank you for attending RenderCon Ke. Yes, go take tea and ask people if they are hired. Go take tea and ask people if they are hired. Remember, there's some